you guys really want to end this, right? Right now? Like
What are
right
we
now
ending?
you want to end this.
Oh, are we pushing on some buttons there?
I said to him, you can't put that there. It's going to hurt.
I didn't
And he
listen,
still
though.
did. He still did, didn't he? He still did.
He tried.
Yeah. He didn't even have the common courtesy for a reach around. All right, welcome back, everybody. Here we are at Comics Conspiracy. I am one of your three hosts. I am Jam Paul, and of course, the Hound is never far away. We also have Camera Chris,
Yo!
and we have the Human Ramp.
Hello.
We never got the story about why you are the Human Ramp
We're not at 1,000 yet.
and what happens out of
1,000. I will
1,000.
reveal the story.
1,000 subscribers of why you
1,000.
were a ramp
He's
for
going
human
to
beings.
he's going to reveal the story while doing a striptease. He forgot to tell you about that part.
No.
We're going to get no subscribers.
for
Why
the
would you
other
do
site.
that, Chris?
That's for the other site.
Wait,
No,
which one are we doing today?
Exactly. And we get no subscribers. Oh, people are leaving. Anyway. All right. So, we're going to be talking about all things under the radar of comics, things people just generally don't want to talk about. Right now, considering the state of the comics industry, everybody's talking about the same things over and over again. We will not be talking about Mark Waid or Mark Millar. So, we're instead, we're going to be talking about an amazing topic. If I can get my controls up, and it is going to be who in Marvel should GTFO. Basically,
Got out.
which major Marvel character could never exist, and the Marvel Universe would carry on pretty much the way it has. It would be the least amount of ripple. They've made the least
Thor.
amount of...
Okay, show's over.
Nice. All right. So we've got a bunch of different things to cover with that. So do you guys have any ideas? What would be your one pick, your one major character who could be erased completely, never even existed, and Marvel would pretty much be the same historically?
Say it in the comments below. I think it's down
Yep.
there or off
Yep.
to the side. I don't know how you're watching it.
So when we start with, do you guys want me to go then? I'll start
Sure.
first if you guys go.
Sure.
All
Your
right.
Layout.
idea.
Yeah, go.
But
All right.
give the criteria that you gave us to pick somebody.
All right. So yeah, basically it has to be a major character that's had a title run of at least 10 years. All right. Without any reboots during that time. Okay. So somebody who's pretty much been established with their own kind of ongoing series that has lasted a considerable amount of time. I'm not talking Miles Morales, who's been rebooted like up to 6 times now, or some silliness like that, or Ms. Marvel,
Or
anything
Daryl
like
Canvers.
that. Exactly. But I'm talking about somebody who has actually gone the distance. Like I don't even know if I don't know how many issues Rom the Space Knight went, but I don't think he made it that many. So
I don't think
what?
I don't think most people would know who the hell we're talking about. We say Rob the Space Knight.
Yeah, well, they're posers. What can I say? All right, nonetheless, what do we want me to say? Get good. All right.
I think we
Okay,
should.
Mike-
I think we should have shared ours with each other because I have one distinct one, and if either of you take it, I'm fucked.
I got
No,
two
you
in the
got-
chamber.
You can always pick the one that you don't want to pick that we talked about before we went on. All right. So my choice is, oh boy, Doctor Strange.
Oh my goodness.
Didn't we suggest that would be the one, Jordan? Remember?
Yeah.
Yeah, we kind
Well,
of.
Hold on. I told Jordan like last week I was picking Doctor Strange.
Yeah.
So
You did.
So you're no prophet, Jordan.
I let him guess. I let
All
him
right.
guess.
All right, fair. So I'm picking Doctor Strange because as much as I love Doctor Strange, and I really do, I you know what I mean. I love Vincent Price, so of course I'm going to love a comic adaptation of him. So I just think that with all of the weirdness that he has and all of his major villains like Dormammu, Nightmare, and so on, all of that could be really erased, and I don't think it's really affecting the Marvel Universe as a whole. Now, there's some big cosmic entities that he deals with, like Eternity and stuff. But to be honest, I think that those kind of characters, the Living Tribunal, Eternity, Death, they could all be introduced in other cosmic character stories like Adam Warlock or Silver Surfer, and those kind of characters. They could be introduced into those books very simply, and I don't think that Marvel is suffering in any capacity as a whole with the loss of Doctor Strange. That's what I'm going to be saying. What do you guys think?
I disagree.
Let's hear it. I like the disagreements first.
I disagree because he has been involved in a lot of stuff that's crossed over and has been sort of the linchpin tying the cosmic Marvel universe into the Earthbound Marvel universe. And he has brought them all together and has been integral in instances like the original Infinity Gauntlet series. Wouldn't have succeeded without him. Wouldn't have even happened really without him. It would have just been Silver Surfer getting his ass handed to him and then crashing down to Earth, and then what? And then all of a sudden Silver Surfer is trying to rally like the Avengers and the X-Men and figure out who can fight fruitlessly against this omnipotent being. So there's that. He's part of the Illuminati, so he is very much in the semi-new age, because the Illuminati sort of right at the end, and well, the end of what was good Marvel and the beginning of the downfall of Marvel. So, but he is part of the Illuminati, which is integral in House of M and Civil War and things like that. And all of the...
Sorry, I'll be right back.
No problem. Hound agrees. So, not that he can hear this, but I disagree because I think that he has played a key role. And I get that he's not everybody's cup of tea. He's not even mine necessarily. Like I never went out of my way to buy Doctor Strange comics.
Right.
And I think the height of Doctor Strange as a character, as a standalone, was before our time. It was more of when my father was in his teens and into his 20s. And it was very largely the hippies that really dug the Doctor Strange vibe. And I think it was being written by hippies for hippies. And it was the psychedelic component.
Yeah, I'm just going to say exactly that. It is that psychedelic component where the artists got to be a little more free with their trippy stuff. Like, hey, look at the movies, right?
And to that point, they were all on drugs reading it and writing it. So, and that was, and they ended up developing the character to a point where they ended up recognizing that they'd gone too far with him and they had to dial him back. They had to nerf a lot of his, because he was becoming the Superman of Marvel Comics. He was undefeatable, and anything the plot needed him to be able to do, he had a spell for.
I have a book for that. Just so happens.
Absolutely.
And he remembers the page in which of his incantation books it was on. So, so I believe that his height was in the 70s, and
oh, nice.
Right. So, but I still believe that he has been a huge part of many large instances throughout Marvel history. So there's my disagreement.
Okay. Absolutely. Your argument is going to be one that we're going to put at every single selection that we have, because all these characters, by their very nature and by the way the Marvel does their stories, they all interact with each other and they all become vital components of other people's stories as well. So, that being said, could somebody else do what Doctor Strange has done? Now, you were sarcastic about it But Surfer can do it. Surfer could do it. He has the cosmic ability to do all that stuff. He takes it. He doesn't have to put it through spells. He doesn't have to put it through all that kind of stuff. He can do all of that stuff just naturally because he controls the power of the universe. Where Doctor Strange has to do all these weird spells and incantations to control that stuff, Surfer can do it all the same. Surfer can have the exact same kind of adventures.
But
He could go to
with
other dimensions.
regard to the specifics of the Infinity Gauntlet series,
Yeah.
Doctor Strange was critical for the assault against Thanos from the Earth's heroes. If it weren't for him to be able to cast the spell for them to be able to breathe in space, they wouldn't have been able to wage the battle against him in the first place.
Silver Surfer could use the power cosmic to allow everybody to breathe as well in space. He can literally, Surfer can, he literally said, I can take all the radiation out of Hulk and free Dr. Banner of that. He could take all of the gamma out of him. That's how powerful he is. Surfer is another one of those Superman situations just waiting to happen. So I'm gonna say that between Adam Warlock and Silver Surfer, they have more than enough ability to unite everybody against Thanos. And I know we can go off about that for a long time. It's a matter of opinion. But right now, I'm gonna say that somebody could have taken what Doctor Strange did. Somebody else could have covered it. That was there. They could have.
What about like Mephisto, and Dormammu? You're saying Surfer can go after all that supernatural as well?
He could have, and he's proven it. He's had stories with those kind of elements in it. And he's the kind of guy that could go to other dimensions. It isn't a hard. And also another thing about the hippies love Silver Surfer too. They were all about Silver Surfer.
Well, yeah.
Like, if you ask a hippie today, if you ask a old hippie today what their favorite character, who their favorite character is, they almost always say Silver Surfer. So he was a big one on that too. But yeah, I think that it wouldn't be a big stretch to see Silver Surfer on his surfboard, not just traversing the cosmos, but traversing different dimensions as well. Right? It isn't that big of a stretch to see it. I wouldn't be surprised to see it. And if they wrote a story like that, I wouldn't be like, oh, he can't do that. You know what I mean? What
interesting. It's interesting. I mean, that's your choice. I
love Doctor Strange. Like,
this is a hard topic,
but
right?
It is a hard topic.
We're deleting someone from Marvel, right? And we're not choosing Howard the Duck. We're not choosing, someone
Jarvis.
that is right. Someone that can easily be deleted. So this was a hard topic. There's going to be refuting no matter who you choose because of the level of what names are going to be thrown down today. But I see both your points. It sucks. I think Doctor Strange became more of not more because that's inaccurate, but I think people today know who Doctor Strange is more than when I was a kid, right? Mm-hmm. When I was a kid, Doctor Strange was not prevalent in my Marvel stuff. Not until I guess the 2000s.
Movies helped.
Movies definitely helped, right? And they brought him to the forefront. Kudos to Benedict Cumberbatch for bringing the character to life. I thought he did a fantastic job.
Shout out, hey Benedict, if you want to come on the podcast and talk about your role, anytime, man.
You have an open invite. You let us know.
Yeah,
in the immortal words of Stephen Toast, who?
yeah, exactly.
So, like I was saying, I don't know. There's not going to be a right answer. But there's also not going to be a wrong answer for this topic either.
My criteria for picking Doctor Strange was I racked my brains trying to think if there were other characters that could do what he did, right, and cover the vast majority of his stories and his contributions, and if his removal, how would it affect other people? Right? Like, he is so usually seclusive. His stories are usually solo situations, right? With the exception of the Defenders. That was my biggest trouble with this was the whole Defenders angle, because he pretty much formed the Defenders, and so that was that was where I had the biggest struggle with this. But if all the characters that I was looking at, I just think that he is the one that you could pull out of the situation, and I don't know. I just think that it's the least amount of fallout. I'll say fallout. It's the least amount of fallout.
Okay.
All right. Jordan, you're gone again.
Yeah, I muted myself.
Oh, okay.
But I'm back. So when yours, to summarize yours, you picked Doctor Strange because he has a lot of contributions at Marvel. I am going to pick mine and let everybody know, because I don't think this person has a lot of contributions in Marvel to that weight. My argument is going to be that this character is ineffective at what he does, and it's Ghost Rider. For the man that brings down vengeance and literally pulls these people to hell. Why is there still a Doctor Doom on the planet? Why is there still a Norman Osborn? Why is there still a Kingpin? Why is there so much evil on the planet? Big time hitters, with somebody, a character like Ghost Rider around. Now, it's hard to just kill off those characters, and I don't think that would be smart because they are money if we're looking at the business side of things. If Ghost Rider just went around and killed all the supervillains, then Marvel would be done, right? There would be no more stories to tell. And you can't continuously pump out good villains or good characters as we've seen in the past, right? They throw thousands of ideas at the wall and only a few stick. So that's my argument, is that Ghost Rider is ineffective at his job, and that's why I would delete him. I guess there's no arguments.
I can't come up with one. I like the character. I like the concept. But yeah, he's largely been, even though he had his own title for a long ass time, he's really largely just been there. And you're not wrong. He hasn't really affected change in any significant manner. He's been a part of some collaborations and stories, but yeah, I don't see the huge. He is one of the ones where we all do the fantasy of what superpowers would you like to. I'd love to have.
He's badass.
The Ghost Rider superpowers. I'd love to be able to look people in the eye and make them feel every ounce of pain that they've inflicted on other people. Like, that would be such a great thing to be able to bring to the world. But
and maybe the Marvel, if you're listening, I doubt it, because you could change Ghost Rider's hair to changes his flames to blue hair, and give him a pink whatever car you want to give him,
and a vagina,
and a vagina. Put a chick in it, make her gay and lame,
make her lame. I got to push back on this, Jordan.
Yes, I was hoping somebody would.
I'm not about taking Ghost Rider away from the Marvel Universe. I agree. The ripple effect is very small. But did he have a 10-year run?
Yeah, I looked it up.
So.
I looked it up.
I just look. I can't find Ghost Rider issue 120. I can't.
On Read All Comics, Let me
know. I might be wrong.
So when it says version 1, is that
volume 1?
Volume 1. Is that technically a reboot?
If there's a volume 2, then yeah, it's a kind of a reboot, man.
I guess. Well, he went up to issue.
Your point is, if they're labeling a volume 1, then there must be a volume 2.
Yeah, but go on.
Yeah. Well, if that's the case, I mean, because he's been a character, and
Hold on. My bottom line: does he have an issue 120?
not that I see here. Not that I see.
Does he
here.
have it? Does he have an issue 100?
85, I think it goes up to.
I don't think he makes it, man. That's what. Now, my point is
Okay, then my backup is Punisher for the exact same reasons.
Eat shit.
whoa!
It's the exact same reasons.
Damn!
The exact same reasons. Argument remains the same.
Do that to Frank Castle, will you?
Do it. Marvel already just did it. Don't make me do it again.
Hold on. We're not Marvel. That's why we have this channel to prove we're not Marvel. Anyway.
If that's what I have to do, then I have to drop the Ghost Rider because is technically not a 10-year run. Then I have to go with Castle for the exact same reasons.
Right? And I think that Ghost Rider has been like it's an amazing character. Don't get me wrong, but like I said, I don't think he's one of those major names we're looking for. Right?
That's fair. Maybe that's why it was a little bit easier. But again, Castle for the same reasons.
Oh, jeez. I'm going to let Chris destroy you on this. Go ahead,
Yeah,
Chris.
go. Tell me why Norman Osborn's still alive.
Because he's not a Punisher villain. And they need him to be alive so that they can put out Spider-Man movie after Spider-Man movie.
But
It's the same reason. Well, by your argument, Batman is ineffective because Joker's still alive.
I could tell you Batman's not effective because they're all just always coming back all the time.
You guys really want to end this, right? Right now? Like
What are
right
we
now
ending?
you want to end this.
Oh, are we pulling on some buttons or pushing on some buttons there? Listen. Just like Doctor Strange and his library, Batman's got that utility belt that is. I just happen to have some shark repellent for this very reason on this day.
That's the 60s TV show version, though.
I know, and it
And
still lives.
it's still good. All right, go on.
Yeah, no,
But anyway.
like the Punisher argument is he's not a superhero, first of all. So to have him going up against anybody with superpowers and going, "Why didn't you do your job?" is kind of a false equivalency. He is effective at fighting and neutralizing many criminals, from low-level thugs all the way up to gang leaders and whatnot. He's responsible for Jigsaw's face, which you could argue is he's responsible for making Jigsaw. So,
Fair.
but he
I'm sure
he
Jigsaw sees it that way. But yeah, go on.
he is effective in his genre. So to say that he's ineffective because, and then citing a bunch of other things, is like saying a dog isn't a very good fisherman.
Does Kingpin still rule the city?
Yep.
Yeah, but again, is Kingpin directly a Punisher villain? Kingpin has been around a lot fucking longer than Punisher, and
Yes, he has.
when you're looking at these larger, there's no getting rid of a major character. You just have to accept that, because even when major characters die, Marvel still brings them back. So there's no getting rid of. You use the argument with Doctor Doom, or maybe it was Paul earlier saying about Doctor Doom and all these other people. You can't get rid of these characters. So you have to look at it in what I was saying about Batman. So the Joker still lives, but does that mean Batman isn't effective because he's locked him up in Arkham Asylum? I don't know, an incountable number of times. So he's effective for what he's set out to do. He's never setting out to kill the Joker. Maybe in some stories they went darker and they tried to make him.
There's some Elseworlds, but they don't really count, right?
But when it boils right down to it, is Captain America ineffective because he doesn't kill anybody. No, that's not his thing. Punisher kills a ton of fucking people, so he's really effective at what he does. And when you broaden it to more recent stuff, I don't think you guys, I've recommended it, but the Savage Avenger series,
I have yet to do it.
He is, I believe it was him that was touted as the number one out of Venom, Wolverine, Elektra. I believe Juggernaut was included in this tally. So who is it? Shuma Gorath is this wizard, and he's trying to get all these ultimate killers because he needs the blood of these savage killers. So he's going after these people that are known for killing, and Punisher is the top tier killer. So he's effective at what he does.
I've been thinking on the criteria like Ripple, right? The Ripple effect, and I think that Doctor Strange has been involved in many stories. I think Punisher is more integral in the stories that he's been involved in. I don't know if Daredevil would be the exact same character if it wasn't so much interaction with the Punisher. I don't know if he would be the same character. You know what I mean?
And
that's a great question.
Here's one that'll melt your noodle. In the Marvel Universe, when it comes down to the non-top tier players, more people know the Punisher, more characters and NPCs in the Marvel Universe know who the Punisher is than know who Doctor Strange is.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I agree with that. But we're not talking about
popularity.
We're talking about effectiveness in Marvel. Remove him, and what changes?
Effect?
What changes?
Well, that's what I was just talking about.
A lot more people would be alive.
I think that, and like I said, I think that Daredevil might be fundamentally a little different. I think that other characters he's interacted with, like Black Widow and things like that, might be different. His interactions with Wolverine.
If you get to call in a tag team partner for Doctor Strange, I get to call in a tag team partner for Frank Castle then, right?
Absolutely.
Like, anybody else could have done that job, right? I can insert...
Who? Oh, no. Who?
What?
Tell me who.
I could put Logan in there. I could put Deadpool in there. I could put any killer in the Marvel Universe.
Are you telling me that Deadpool is going to be taking out gangbangers in
for target practice? It's a slow Tuesday for him. And I just made a joke like that Deadpool would too.
No, you missed completely. Listen, in all honesty, you think that Deadpool's stories are going to be focused around dealing with some cocaine pushers?
Yeah, because he wants them. You could run a very funny story with Deadpool doing
You're telling me that I'm not saying a story, but you're telling me multiple title lines that have gone on for years and years and years based around mercenary work, underworld, shadow war, all that. You're saying that that's what Deadpool would be doing?
No, I'm saying that's exactly what X-Force would be doing.
No, they
would have the streets cleaned up.
Why would you have X-Force do that? Why would you have X-Force do that kind of stuff? That's not what they're designed for.
Because they're murderers.
No,
and that's it.
That's the only criteria?
Well, yeah.
What's their motivation though?
Because Professor X told him to.
Frank Castle has a motivation to do what he does and to go at that low level. Like watching X-Force destroy a gangbang, like a bunch of gangbangers, that's like what, 2 panels?
Yeah, I guess, because then they could be more effective and go after the heads of the people rather than low-level gangbangers. That was my whole point in the first place. Frank Castle kills people without names. That's why it doesn't matter, right?
Well, I agree with you on that point about, like, Scourge has killed more supervillains than Frank Castle has. So, but my point is that I still think that I don't think that these characters would be as involved in Frank Castle's stories. Like getting back to Silver Surfer, I can totally see him going in other dimensions and dealing with people like Mephisto. We've already read stories about that. We covered it in a mining issue. We've seen that how it works. It can be done. But Deadpool continuously dealing with weapons dealers, gangbangers, and stuff like that, and not running his ass away from Juggernaut, I don't know. It doesn't seem to work.
Well, I said multiple people.
No, I know.
I can see Logan being there. I think Logan would be good as well, right?
Maybe ninja stuff, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Right?
I don't know.
And
about
I
the
think
other
Logan and Matt Murdock would make a good team up as well.
It's interesting. What do you think, Chris?
Jordan's wrong. Let's move on.
All right.
I'm wrong I'm only wrong because you don't want to hear that the Punisher, your boy, is ineffective at his job.
But we've already exampled that he's not ineffective. He's ineffective at the job that you expect him to do, but that's not what he's doing.
The Kingpin is still alive.
Yeah, and when you look at okay, so put yourself as a person, a character inside the Marvel Universe. Punisher affects more common people than anybody else because he is taking out the people at the level that would affect the common person. He is going after the street level gangster. He is making a difference in the day-to-day lives of by taking out drug pushers and gun runners and things like that. Things that would immediately affect the average everyday person, as opposed to and leaving, if you would, he's leaving the bigger fights up to the people that are more qualified for it. So he's leaving going after Doctor Doom to the Fantastic Four. Are they effective at killing Doctor Doom? I don't know. I haven't seen them do it. So,
but that's not their shtick, right? Yeah, I can't use killing for the other heroes because that's not their shtick. His shtick is literally killing the bad guys. Okay.
Hold on, and we talked about this. That's why I'm not a big fan of these kind of characters in general. I like the Punisher. Don't get me wrong. I like Frank Castle, but I'm trying to say,
of course, I had to kill someone.
Yeah, but the thing is when you can't have a character whose entire existence is based on killing.
It's
right?
tough.
And then put him into an environment where we can't kill anyone.
Right. I agree.
Not right. It's not fair. Right.
That's the whole point of my argument.
Yeah, exactly. It's not fair. Like, he can't kill the Kingpin simply because Kingpin has plot armor. That's why the Kingpin's still alive. No other reason. No other reason. Frank Castlewood has killed his ass long ago, but he can't kill him because he has plot armor. Am I right, Chris?
Best armor of all.
Correct.
All right. And you agree, right, Jordan? But it still doesn't. Agree. I know what you're saying. It doesn't invalidate your point that he can't do what he's designed to do, and that makes him ineffective. What I'm trying to say is I still think that pulling the Punisher out of Marvel Comics completely, he never existed, is a bigger ripple effect than Doctor Strange. I think it affects more people on a grander scale.
And you could make the argument that, like I think you were alluding to earlier about the Daredevil situation, is he drives the better heroes to be better heroes. He drives Captain America, he drives Daredevil, he drives Spider-Man to be the do-gooders that they intend on being, but he gives them a benchmark to overcome and to not let themselves not let themselves slide into a worse type of situation.
Punisher loves these guys. He loves them, and he doesn't want them to be him. So he's like, no, you got to kick Captain America.
Like, he envies Captain America.
He does worship Captain.
Punisher will literally say, you got to kick my ass because you can't be me. You have to stop. You have to oppose me because I don't want you to ever be me. You know what I mean? That's it. I get it. It's part of why I like him.
Well, Mr. Smarty Pants, if you think I'm so wrong, let's hear your guy.
Well,
Nice.
it was hard to come up with, and
Very hard.
even though I want to say Thor, because
Oh, geez. We're having arguments. Yeah.
yeah, I was gonna
Yeah.
go with it just to see what you would have to say in
Yeah.
support of it, because I know you like him.
You should have chosen Steve Rogers.
No.
What? Okay, let's just get rid of Marvel. Why don't we just pick Peter Parker too while we're at it?
Just
Believe-
for that reaction.
Believe me,
Hold on, we're
I-
gonna pick.
I-
We're gonna pick. We'll pick Steve Rogers. We'll pick Peter Parker and Bruce Banner. Why not? Why not? Let's pick
all
those.
three of them. I
Yeah.
tried to come up with reasons, and I couldn't hurdle that one, because they're just all three of those. The top three, I say, the top three characters of Hulk, Cap, and Spider-Man.
Yeah.
They are ultimately recognizable as the embodiment of Marvel Comics, and whether or not they deserved to be in every facet of where they've been in stories, they were. They've been involved in every goddamn thing, and everyone knows who they are inside the comics and from a reader perspective and an audience perspective. So there was just no way that I could pull it off. But at the same time, I am pulling a name that's been mentioned and a name that is now gone mainstream only recently, and that's Deadpool. If you take Deadpool out of the Marvel Universe, nothing changes.
I agree.
And since he's already just an amalgamation of Wolverine and Spider-Man as a concept anyways, it's a nothing loss.
Hashtag not my Deathstroke.
Right.
I agree 100%. 100%.
I'm trying to come up with something. Deadpool was on my list because he was also just a mercenary killer, right? And however, the only thing I can come up with right now is that Cable would not be recognized without Deadpool.
And where's the loss there?
No, I'm not saying it's a big one. He is literally that character that is just there for fun. He is,
And that's
not,
exactly what
right.
my mentality is. He's a cutesy, fun character.
Yeah.
And he makes wisecracking jokes and goes a little farther than the Spider-Man joking would have done. So they took the elements of Spider-Man and Wolverine that they liked and mashed them together, and like two different colors of Play-Doh, and just smashed them together and said, we can take these concepts that work and go a bit further with them and maybe draw a different audience. There's a reason that he wears a bright red costume too. The red aspects of costumes draw the attention. It's been tested and proven.
Yep.
So that's why you have red capes on so many characters. That's why you have red, if not full-on costumes, red majority elements to a lot of costumes. And it's a draw. Everything about him was a marketing design. It wasn't a design through wanting to do a good character or interesting stories. It's a marketing design. And if you look at the stories that have been his bestsellers, and I don't have the financial data, so I'm pulling this out of my ass, but if you look at what I would believe are his biggest sellers, are basically what ifs. What if Daredevil killed the Marvel Universe? And like so many of his titles, they've had to crowbar him into situations to be able to make an interesting story that people would actually want to pay money to buy the book.
And going back to that is because you can't kill the Marvel Universe, but it would be right but it's a fun read.
It is
because
Well, they
that's
did.
what it is.
They did that with Punisher too. What if Punisher killed them?
They went down that road more than once.
Yep.
But to my point, Punisher books sold so well they had to create offshoots, Warzone, War Journal, all that stuff. Like there, especially in the 90s, Punisher was a big title for even non-comic collectors. There were people that got into comics because of Punisher. There are people that maybe picked up a couple of Deadpool books when the movies came out and said, "Oh, this is fun. He's quirky," and "Oh, don't you love the Deadpool movie? They're so funny," and "Oh, I love that," and I'm such a comic fan. And they ran out and they bought one or two, and that's about the extent of their purchasing power in the Marvel or comics genre. And they either got bored of the character or realized that there's just nothing going on. And when you look at crossovers, okay, so his big crossover early on too was Cable. And again, the tie-ins to who created the characters is the main reason for that. So beyond that, he's crossed over with a bunch of people, but nothing integral. Like if I ask you right now, give me a big event or a big grouping that involved Deadpool, and side caveat is, what role did Deadpool play in that couldn't have been filled by anybody else?
He is literally an amalgamation of other characters, so there isn't one.
Right.
And there's where they also fail, and why it's obvious that he's a marketing character, is with Spider-Man you have a very well-known origin story. And of course it's well known because it's been reiterated so many times. But it's a fun and interesting, maybe not interesting, but it's a fun origin story that hadn't been done before. So that's why they keep retelling it, is because it's such a fun sort of supposition of, well, what if, because radioactivity is so forbidden, so to speak, right? Like, oh, you don't want that, radiation poisoning, blah, blah, blah. So what if you didn't get radioactive yourself, but you got bitten by this creature, and it could have been any creature. But they picked a spider, and then therefore it endowed him with the powers of a spider. And even if you hear Stan tell it, like, what's the powers of a spider? How do we showcase that? And they went through. So it's an interesting development. And then you take Wolverine, and you've got this character that originated out of mystery in a Hulk comic book. And you're like, what's this character? Why don't we know about him? And then
how is he going toe to toe with the Hulk?
Right. And he's short, and he's Canadian. So he's got a lot of things against him. But in developing the character over the years, now some of the stuff we've discussed, and I don't like what they've done, because I think over-developing, especially a character whose main intrigue is the mystery of his backstory. And when you overdevelop and you over-explain, you lose that. But if we're talking classic, he was mysterious for decades, and they kept that mystery going and gave little leaks here and there, and even Professor X wasn't able to crack the barriers that were presented in his brain to find out what was going on. So you've got all that. So you take the powers and the volatility of this murderous character and mash him up with the Spider-Man fun, frivolous, joking, because I'm so powerful I don't have to worry about it and I can goof around, and oh my god, that's so fun that you tried to hurt me, and blah blah blah, quips and stuff like that. And you mash those characters together, but you don't have the history. You've just taken where Wolverine and Spider-Man were in their evolution of the process and then created a new character. Whereas they had to learn to get there. It's like what I tell people about what they did with The Simpsons, and then along came Family Guy. The Simpsons originally started off as a short, as everybody knows, but then once it began the series, and maybe even in the shorts, it was about Bart.
Yes.
They thought Bart was going to be the key component, and the cowabunga dude, and that's crazy.
He was going to be the self factor of the show, yeah.
But then they realized, and I accredit a lot of it, and if you look at the timing, I give a lot of credit to Married with Children influencing not only The Simpsons, but where it went and where they were able to evolve, is at that time you had this very Al Bundy driven show, the patriarch of the family, this bumbling, fumbling, go nowhere in life idiot, but he's still got this family that jokingly hates each other but secretly loves each other. And then as the show went along, they realized it wasn't really about the whole family. It was about Al. And Al, be it either from Ed O'Neill or from the writing, Al sold that show and sold that character. And it was about how funny it is that this dumb shoe salesman can be so just not only outrageously dumb, but just not give a shit about any the social norms, the graciousness that we offer each other, instead of just, calling out the fact that you've got a big fat ass. We go, no, you slay, girl. Even back then, right? Like, people were still, you might hear some people, but people were still very closeted about their disdain for what they didn't appreciate about other people. Al broke that mold and said the things like Archie Bunker years before, said the things that we were all thinking, but most people are afraid to say. They took that and with The Simpsons, and they said, well, and probably through demographics, because again, it's all marketing. They saw the episodes where it was more of a Homer story, a Homer-centric episode, and they said, people are really digging this. Let's develop that more. Let's go down that road. And the Bart stuff became very back burner in the majority of the episodes. And when they even had him in, it was second or third plot in the episode. And Homer was very much forefront and became more so and became more goofy. And then they started meta goofing on it. They started goofing on how goofy they'd made him with how many jobs he's had, and he's done every goddamn thing. He's been an astronaut, a construction worker, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And they developed that. And then along comes Family Guy and takes everything that took them years to develop with The Simpsons, years to come to realize, and either through focus groups and market research and Nielsen ratings, or whatever the concoction, the cauldron that they mixed up to figure it all out. And they went right in and just said, we're going to make it about this father. And yeah, he's got a family, and there's some interesting things that go on with Stewie and this talking dog, but it's largely about this dumb, bumbling fucking idiot of a father. And that's where I feel that they've gone sort of wrong with Deadpool. Sure, he's fun, he's appealing in a few aspects, but they took the history of other characters and made a character out of that history, out of that learning, and just amalgamated a character. And therefore
go on. Yep, sorry.
Yeah, I'm summarizing. And therefore he's not a real true substantiated character. He's always been a paper champion, in my opinion.
I've always felt Deadpool was forced down our throats. I've always felt it. I've always felt it from day one when people started, oh, who's this guy? What's this? And I just felt, I saw I'm like, it's Spider-Man. Like, well, what is this guy? Right? Spider-Man with swords. What's going on here? And then,
why
of course,
does Spider-Man need swords?
And then as they developed him, right, and he started he had whatever superpower he needed at the time and all that kind of stuff. And I just felt like, I just saw everybody just loving this character, and I just felt felt so artificial and disingenuous. It was just like, it's almost like as if we have to like him, and I didn't. It pushed me more and more away from him. I've never been a fan of Deadpool's. I don't think I've read a full issue of a Deadpool comic. I've read a lot of stuff with Deadpool because he's in so much stuff.
And
right?
So what you're saying is you've never given him a chance.
No, I've been forced to give him a chance because he's been in everything that I've ever wanted to look at.
But look at what you just said. You just summarized the Marvel Cinematic Universe in a nutshell. They're telling you what to like instead of offering up and saying, because let's face it, unless you were a comic a guy or girl, the three girls that used to collect comics, Iron Man wasn't on anybody's radar. And then they come out with this Iron Man movie, and everyone's all of a sudden an Iron Man fan. And I think I've mentioned this on here before, but on my Facebook, when the Avengers first came out and I went to the early screening, and I saw the end credit scene with Thanos, and I knew in an instant that was Thanos. And walking out of the theater, I heard so many other people going, "Oh no, it's a Skrull," and going, "No, I think it's supposed to be that stretchy guy." And there were just so many things that people just had no clue.
The stretchy guy.
Yeah, because and to this day, I still don't know who they were referring to.
Maybe Super Skrull.
Maybe.
Yeah.
But they didn't know, and fine, you didn't know, no big deal. But I posted years later when right before because they had multiple end credits and the mid scene where he faces off and who's he? In Guardians when he confronts Ronan. So they had things, but people weren't really aware of the character. And then I remember my post right before Infinity Saga came out, or Infinity Gauntlet, whatever the fuck they called it. I have the poster right there. And I posted, I said, we're 24 hours away from everybody becoming a Thanos expert.
Yep. Yep. You're right.
And that's what happens, right? But again, that was at least organically. Like you took a character. They didn't create the character. They took a character and introduced it to the audience. They made him
mainstream, right?
And the broadening mainstream audience.
Yeah.
And that didn't mean the audience was going to like this character, but if they did the work right and they had a good story, that's how it works. That's how it's always worked. So when you end credit scene a pager with a Captain Marvel logo on it and go, guess what's coming? Because we're going to shove it up your.
Yep.
And you force feed it down people's throats and say, this is the direction that we're going. Or you wear shirts at an unveiling and say the Force is female. And you force people, literally use the word force, to a specified way of thinking, and you're telling them, no, you're going to like this. People are going to reject it. Unless
I've been a wrestling fan. I know what it's like when they force a name down your throat.
My man.
Doink the Clown.
John Cena.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
And when it happens organically, and when maybe wrestling's not the greatest because none of their gimmicks are really all that organic. They're very
well crafted.
Well, and sometimes they're
not so well crafted.
They're vindictive based. There's the stories of Terry Taylor and Dusty Rhodes, and they got saddled with the Red Rooster and the polka dot Dusty Rhodes outfit because they pissed off the wrong people. And yeah, we're gonna let you work, but you're gonna work, and nobody liked that shit, and they were forced to do it day after day. But when you introduce either an interesting character or an interesting gimmick, backed by some stories that make sense, and again, great analogies though with wrestling. You introduce the $1 Million Man. Okay, so he's a rich guy. Yeah, big deal. But when they rolled out those little spots of him having the kid bounce the ball, and if he gets to 10 or 15, whatever it was, and then he kicks the ball on 14, you just solidified that heel for everybody. And you don't like him, but you love to hate him.
That's it. And you can't wait to see his face get punched.
Right.
Well, yeah, exactly. But not Daredevil, but Deadpool, like I said, I didn't realize it at the time. But yeah, he was force-fed down our throats.
Yeah.
He was. I knew I shouldn't like him simply because he was that popular so quickly for no reason. And
I came out of nowhere.
I'm not gonna say I'm a genius and that I saw it coming, But
Yep.
so I do feel like you, like I looked back on it, but I did have that. You have you have a gut instinct for certain things.
Yeah.
You know, they come out with this thing and they say you have to run out and get this shot, and you go, maybe I'll wait. No,
Yep.
you have to, and again they force feed it and tell you have to do it. The more look, I've never had a drink in my life. I've never smoked. I've never done drugs. Then the more people told me I had to, the more I didn't want to. And
Right.
So
There.
the more someone ever tells me I have to, but even prior to that, what didn't sit well with me, and like I said, I'm not saying that I saw it coming, but there was an instinctual underlying weirdness to it, is they announced that the New Mutants run was ending, and it ended, I believe, in issue 100. That was their final issue, if I'm not mistaken. And they introduced Deadpool in issue 98. So it was forced. They knew what they were doing. And again, maybe New Mutants wasn't one of my hard collections. I have a bunch of them. But yeah, maybe it just wasn't selling and they were using it as a vehicle. And again, you can't ignore nor eliminate the marketing, the heavy hands of marketing aspects to all of it. So, we recognize when they tell a good story, but even in telling a good story, it's still marketed.
Yeah, it's true. But at least you get the good story out of it. I never got that with Deadpool. I never understood the draw.
Right.
Never ever did. I never did.
And exactly what you're saying is people ask me, like, you've been to Disney World how many times? Like, why do you keep going back to Disney World? And they go, oh, they're just taking your money. Yes, they are. They're gladly taking my money. And they've taken a lot of it. But I get something for it.
Yep.
And
you feel value.
Right.
There's a sense of value.
And that's what I, throughout the years, that's what I chose to spend my money on.
Quick quiz for you both. Okay, let's see if you guys know, because I had to look this up.
We also have to wrap up pretty soon. So
yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
We're almost over an hour, so let's go. Go hit it. It was a great topic.
Who is Deadpool's main villain?
Yeah, that's a good point.
Who is it? Apparently there is one. I just Googled it.
I'm really thinking about this one.
Yeah, do it.
It's a character I don't care about, so I don't know.
Ready?
Teddy Ruxpin.
Oh, you are really close, actually. You are really close.
Hold on. I'll make a guess.
Yeah.
It's a figment of his imagination.
The name is T-Ray. T-Ray.
Okay.
T-Ray is just a guy that likes to tell Wade how much of a failure he is. And he is Deadpool's arch enemy for many issues, and almost everything that happened to Deadpool was a part of an elaborate plan orchestrated by him.
So he's Deadpool's Yancey Street Gang? Like
Yeah. Right.
Sure. Sure. All right. I agree. I think Chris came up with the best one today. I
can agree with that.
Deadpool was gone. I don't think it would affect the Marvel. And I know all you fanboys out there are losing your shit. I don't care.
Tell us why we're wrong. Tell us why we're wrong. Challenge it.
No, by all means. By all means with Deadpool. Go. I guarantee I won't read them. So I'm being honest here. I just know. Okay.
That's gonna get
you're right. Chris knocked it out of the park today, because that one's is it. That's it.
That is the one.
That's the one. Thor.
No, wrong. Absolutely wrong. You're as wrong as Jordan is with the Punisher. That wrong.
Oh,
all right,
not
so
wrong. Kingpin's still alive.
Oh my goodness, because he can't die.
That's right.
That's why he's alive.
So that's why it doesn't make sense.
I agree.
You can't use a meta thing to say my argument's invalid. That's not fair. Because you're just putting plot armor around your argument. Literally. It's a very meta argument.
It's so good.
And I'm going to use the argument. That's why he shouldn't exist. Because he can't do his job because of a meta argument. Because of plot armor.
I think that the Punisher would be much better actually outside of the Marvel Universe. I think it's really cool when he does interact with elements of the Marvel Universe, but his best stories are always outside of that kind of stuff anyway. You know what I mean? So it's when he's in some jungle in Nicaragua or something like that.
Maybe that's what Marvel is doing. That's what they're doing. They're taking him outside the Marvel Universe, and now he can go have his own adventures with the 13 kids he found on another planet.
Oh, I'm done. Okay, Chris, you got anything you want to say to wrap this up?
Yes, Jordan is bad at his job because the Kingpin's still alive.
Yeah. Jordan, you are a bad manager at your restaurant because Kingpin is alive.
You could have poisoned him long ago.
Yep.
He hasn't been into my restaurant in
How do you know?
In 3 days.
You weren't there. You might have been sleeping in the back or something.
You wouldn't know because you're bad at your job. All right, so there you go.
Just look at how upset they are because I touched their Frank Castle.
No, you know what you could have poisoned him with? Those croutons.
Nice. All right. And you did. Jordan, you did. You touched my Frank Castle. All right. Anyway, nonetheless.
Blend up some bacon and put it on croutons and serve it up to the Kingpin, and we have no more Kingpin.
That's what you're getting on Thursday.
It is Thursday. Today is Thursday.
Yeah, it's been a long week.
Don't worry. No one's going to show up because you don't advertise it anyways.
Savage. All right. Jordan, you got anything you want to say?
Thanks for listening and watching this long. See you next time. Like, share, comment, subscribe. Tell us why Deadpool deserves to stay, why Frank deserves to go,
and why Jordan is wrong.
Yeah, everybody, let us know why Jordan is wrong.
We got the two men in their 50s.
Give us further arguments about why Jordan is wrong.
The stay off our lawn comments and
I don't
Truth
even have a
hurts.
lawn.
Stings does it. Doesn't it sting?
I live in suburbia. My lawn is like
Yeah. Well, I still want people to stay off of it, even if it is that big. Listen, just because it's stereotypical doesn't mean it's wrong.
So you do like Britney Spears?
Nope.
She is
That's
the
not
princess.
That's
of
not
pop.
stereotyping. Okay, your stereotype is people, men, straight white men in their 50s like Britney Spears. That's your stereotype.
I think a straight white man would like Britney Spears. Why? What do you prefer? Like the Misfits? You want to watch the Misfits on mute?
Hold on. What are we talking about? Her music?
Your quote was, "Do straight white men like Britney Spears?"
Yeah.
I like how her rib cage goes right into her hips.
Okay, but yeah, is that your argument? Is that we do like Britney Spears
Well, most straight men do like Britney Spears.
for her music?
Oh, I didn't say that. Why are you inserting it now to try and recover?
Oh, because I can think of a lot of sex symbols a lot better than that.
She defined a generation.
Chris, you put one up before we started recording.
Who?
Yeah, what was her name?
Lizzo?
Oh, I like this. Now, my memory might be bad, but it ain't that bad. Anyway.
Join us next time where we discuss Marvel's sex symbols.
Yes. Yeah. Okay, so that all being said, please do comment. You can talk about Britney Spears if you want. But nonetheless, please comment. Let us know who you think should be removed from the Marvel Universe and it would have the least splash effect. And why we're right or why we're wrong. You can let us know that too. But don't try to tell us we're wrong about Deadpool. It's going to be cricket season.
No,
I want to try it.
Let them. I'd be interested to hear anybody's position on why, because I love hearing when I'm so in one camp. And if there is somebody that is hardcore the other way, I'm curious that gap, that chasm in the line of thinking. I would love to hear somebody present an argument.
I've had about 20 years of that argument. I'm tired of it. So
that's why you should never get married.
Yeah, exactly right. 100%. Anyway, all right.
I can argue his movies are better than his comics. Actually,
fair.
Yes. Yeah.
I'll give you that.
Yeah.
I'll give you that. From what I've seen,
Right.
yeah,
There's actually cohesive storytelling, and he's involved.
1000%. All right, guys, I want to thank you guys for having this topic with me, and I want to thank all of you at home for watching it and putting up with us. All right, we will be doing this again, probably sooner than later, and we will see you all next time.
Next time.